friends, welcome back to OSCM video lecture series. In our previous videos, we discussed on what is production planning and control, what are the different functions of production planning and control, and how does effective production planning and control based on employing different methods of forecasting which helps organizations to create and deliver value to their customer and develop a competitive advantage. In this video, we will be discussing on what is capacity requirement planning and how does capacity requirement planning works as a production planning tool for the organization. Simply speaking, every organization has to manage with the increased demand in the market, which may be sometimes more than the actual capacity. Matching capacity of production with the demanded quantity is called as capacity requirement planning. When demand is less than actual capacity, still capacity requirement planning is important so as to manage with per unit cost of production as well as CRP is done to minimize total cost of production. Let's move on to our discussion with some basic understanding of what is capacity and how does the capacity planning can be done. So there are three things which are very important for a manufacturing organization before producing goods and services for their customer. The first thing is capacity. The various questions related to capacity which we must answer before we actually decide for capacity requirement plannings are how much we are able to produce now in a particular period of time, say in one shift of production cycle, and what is the maximum quantity we can produce in a particular manufacturing period of time. Then comes is demand forecasting. How much is the quantity demand for product from the market? The quantification is important market wise, product wise as well as the customer wise. And then is the production planning. How the organization is going to match the production of quantity which is demanded in the market, how much the organization can produce and how they will bridge the quantity gap if any without wasting or stretching of resources. Thus we can say that capacity is nothing but the higher limit which an individual, a machine or a manufacturing plant can handle. The capacity is measured as output in terms of volume or units which a business unit or production system can manage. Thus, when we define capacity as the upper limit, ceiling or the upper load which a production system which includes machine and a manpower system. A simple example that we can take here is every lift has a capacity of lifting people, which may be mentioned in terms of number of people considering the average weight of individuals as 70 kg, or it may clearly mention the capacity in terms of actual weight. Now let us understand the importance of capacity by comparing the benefits and limitations of higher and lower capacity. If the capacity is higher, then production volume will be very high and per unit cost of production will be low. That allows the organizations to earn maximum profit. Higher capacity will also help organizations to fulfill higher demanded quantities in the market, making their customer highly satisfied by supplying products in the required quantity as well as at the lower prices as compared to their competitors. The only limitation of higher capacity is requirement of huge initial investment for plant development. Same benefits of production, volume, per unit cost, profitability and demand versus supply is not possible if the capacity is low, which limits the performance and profitability of organization, though the initial capital requirement is low. Now let us discuss about the importance of capacity planning if a manufacturing plant has higher capacity. First, it allows the organization's ability to meet future high demands from market. Second, it affects operating cost of the company to achieve lower per unit cost. Third, it is major detriment of initial cost. That is, if capacity plant is higher, the initial investment cost will be also high and vice versa. It also affects the competitiveness, as we discussed earlier, that higher production capacity help organizations to fulfill higher demanded quantities in the market, making their customers highly satisfied by supplying products in required quantities as well as at the lower price as compared to competitors' prices, thus allowing companies to develop competitive advantage. And higher capacity also provides higher productivity and higher returns on investment. Hence, positive cash flow further help those organizations for investment in various management functions such as marketing function, human resource development functions, logistics, etc., which further improves effectiveness and efficiency of the organizations, resulting in ease of management. Now let us understand capacities based on inputs and outputs. Capacity in terms of capabilities. Capability means the capacity and ability. This we will understand with the following example. Suppose a transport bus has a seating capacity of 54 passengers. That means that bus should occupy only 54 passengers because the capacity is limited only to 54 passengers, right? Still another 20 passengers who are standing, the bus can still move as the bus engine has the ability of carrying that additional load. Here we will not be considering the fuel economy of that bus with additional load. Thus, the capability of bus is more than the seating capacity. Let us understand what is capacity in respect of inputs. If a machine can handle a specific amount of raw material in a particular period of time, it is called as input capacity. In our home, with the mixer and juicer, we can prepare even a 30 liter of juice in 1 hour. But at one time, the juicer can handle at the most of only 1 liter capacity of inputs, as the size of juicer is that limited, isn't it? Similarly, a machine which is able to process only 90 kg of raw materials per hour to produce the products, it means the input capacity of the machine is only 90 kg per hour. And similarly, if a machine is able to produce only 1000 units of finished goods, say for example tomato ketchup pouches in 1 hour, then we can say it is the output capacity of that machine. Now let us understand the different types of capacities that can be adopted by the organizations to manage with the production plans. The first is called as the adjustable capacity. Depending upon number of workforce, number of hours available, number of shifts available, the capacity can be adjusted. Simply we can say adjustable capacity means the capacity which can be adjusted as per the need or demand to be fulfilled. The second is called as the design capacity. It is the theoretical maximum amount of work that an organization or machine is capable of completing in a given period. For example, a cement manufacturing company is designed to manufacture 150 tons of cements per day, and license capacity is the legally allowed capacity or as per the quantity permitted to be produced as per the license provided by the legal authorities. For example, liquor manufacturing. Then comes is the system capacity, the maximum capacity output of a specific product which can be produced using workers and machine system, that is production system. It is less than or equal to design capacity even if the capacity is high, but if the man machine system is limited, the output will also be limited. Then comes is the installed capacity, the capacity of output of a machine provided at the time of installation. Actually, design capacity and installed capacity should be theoretically same. Sometimes the output of machine can be reduced at the time of its installation due to some constraints such as availability of raw materials, manpower, or desired demanded output quantity. For example, suppose a machine's designed capacity is to produce 300 units per hour, that is 5 units per minute. The available supply quantity of raw material is less. Hence, the machine's output capacity is reduced to produce only 3 units per minute at the time of its installation. Then is the effective or actual or utilized capacity. It is the actual output of any production system at any given point of time. It depends upon the availability of resources like raw materials, manpower, or absenteeism of some of these resources that affects the output capacity. It is always lesser than the installed or designed capacity. Even though the designed or installed capacity is higher, the actual capacity which is utilized for output matters more, which clear-cut makes an understanding of effective utilization of the resources. There are two things which we must understand with great clarity. The first thing is effective capacity. This capacity means what is actual output or performance with available capacity at any point of time. And the second thing is utilized capacity. This capacity means what is the actual output or performance with the total available, that is the designed capacity. Let us understand this with a very simple example. Suppose a transport company has a total of 50 trucks for the transportation services. So now we can say this is the designed capacity. The transport company has a planned maintenance of 10 trucks every day. That means the company actually provides transport services with only 40 trucks. On a particular day, suppose 3 trucks were delayed from the maintenance and 1 truck got punctured. Means now only 36 trucks are available actually to provide the transport services. Hence, the efficiency can be calculated by actual output, that is 36 trucks divided by the actual available capacity, that is 40 trucks. That gives a 90%. This means that the transport company has a 90% of operational efficiency. If we have to find out what is utilized capacity, then instead of 40 we have to take into consideration the actual utilized number of trucks, that is 30. Then after dividing it with the available total capacity, that is the designed capacity of 50 trucks, then the resulting value will become 72%. Thus, as compared to effective capacity, what is the actually utilized capacity matters more. Every organization's performance depends upon utilization of the capacity with available resources. Thus, capacity planning is the process of determining the production capacity needed by an organization to meet changing demands for its products in the market. If there exists a discrepancy, that is gap between the production capacity of an organization and the demanded quantity by its customers, it will result in inefficiency, either in underutilized resources or unfulfilled customer demand. The goal of capacity planning is to minimize this discrepancy and match with the demanded quantity so as to meet the supply quantity. The capacity planning is important so as to match with the capacity, which will allow companies to match with demanded quantity in the market. Company planning process normally involves the following activities. First is assessing existing capacity. Based on the efficiency and utilized capacity, the existing capacity of the company can be calculated. Second, the forecasting capacity needs. Long-term as well as short-term demand forecasting can be done, which will help the organizations to understand the discrepancy in advance. Third is identifying the alternative ways to modify existing capacity. Capacity can be increased by resource modifications such as human resource training and development, additional shifts of machine runs, etc. If the demand in the future is going to rise even beyond the adjustable capacity, then addition of new capacity, that is addition of manpower, new machines, etc. is required. But if the demand forecasting is not properly done, the unnecessary increase in capacity will affect overall performance of the organization, as it will increase the cost and lowers the profitability. Hence, it is advised to the organizations to outsource some of the production activities until accurate forecasting is done and until there is a consistent rise in demand from the market. Next is evaluating the financial, economical, and technological capacity alternatives. Before going for expansion of capacity, financial, economical, and technological alternatives should be also considered on financial aspect, that is expected returns as compared to required investment, economical aspect, that is proportion of investment and returns, and the technological aspect. And lastly is selecting the capacity alternative most suited to achieve the strategic mission. Thus, based on the above discussion, organization should evaluate insourcing with expansion of existing capacity or outsourcing activity to manage with the discrepancy. Thus, capacity requirement planning help organizations to take appropriate decisions on whether to expand existing capacity to match with the demanded quantity or else outsourcing of production activity so as to compensate the gap in demand versus the actual capacity. Hope you like content of this video. Then click on the like button and share this video with your friends and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. Happy e-learning.